we talk about awareness, awareness of what? Awareness of the woman. You know what's interesting? Actually, I should have mentioned this earlier. After I came up with this ACT thing, I was reading about leadership and all that kind of stuff, and seeing what other theories about leadership were out there. And the Army has a leadership kind of system, and they break leadership down as be, know, do, which is very similar to this: be, know, do. Control being the process, thrust is about you, awareness of her, and this is the process of control. One note on control. Why control? So kind of a funny word, right? Why not attract or seduce or all? You know, I talked about why not seduce, but what about attract or impress or all these other things? Because for a woman, having sex feels like giving up control. So obviously, you know, the precedent, the path, the journey you're on is sexual. So to make that happen, to be successful, you don't make it happen, but you know, to consistently go down that path with a woman, you need to focus on the right thing. And if you're too busy focusing on maybe like attracting her, that's very passive. It's like attract is like I dance in a certain way and then, oh, now girls are just gravitating towards me. That's actually not how it works. When you're, if you think about the sexual process as a process of exchanging control, that really sets your sights on the bullseye of what you're actually doing. So, and why is that the bullseye? Because that's how it feels to her. So the woman, by letting you enter her body, feels like she's giving up control. Ian came up with a really good, you guys will meet him this weekend, but Ian came up with a really good analogy. Think about a hotel, or like a better one maybe is like a bed and breakfast, where the people who live there, that you're just staying there. That's not your home. That's their home. The people who live there, that's their home. So if I go to a hotel, you know, it's not a big deal to me. You know, I go in, I'm there for a night, fine. You know, it could be the Motel 6, it could be the, you know, Hyatt, you know, preferably the Hyatt, but, you know, ultimately I don't lose anything, right? For a woman, she's more like, it's her hotel, you know, so you're going there for a time. So that then begs the question, well, what kind of person would you want to stay at your place? All right, so it's going to be someone, obviously deception is going to destroy that, right? Someone you can trust, someone you feel safe with, and someone who's going to be a fun guest, right? So the level of trepidation and concern is very similar on the part of maybe people who are running a very nice bed and breakfast to the level of concern a woman's going to have for who she gives control to or lets into her body. So you start thinking about the fact that you're taking control, it really changes kinds of questions you ask. It changes how you feel about what you're doing. you're aware that to her, there's a dimension of anxiety or a fear that you don't have. Um, Biologically, sex can lead to pregnancy. And so in that regard, she's stuck there and you're not. Okay? So that's just an interesting way to think about it. So giving up control. You guys have heard the term submission. Women are submissive and all that. Well, the word isn't submissive. Submissive is the wrong word. It's people throwing around words without thinking about what they actually mean. Submission is taking control by force, and that's like an oxymoron. You can't take control by force. Surrender is given. So surrender is really the process. You want her to surrender to you. So what kind of person would you surrender to? Think about that. For a woman to be fully sexually satisfied, to really have a totally enjoyable experience, she needs to feel like she's surrendering. Now, what if she's in a role where she's taking control? For example, she's riding you, or she's sucking your dick, right? She's in control. The reason why those experiences for her are more exciting, or not more exciting, but are so exciting and thrilling, and they take on a kind of a different dimension, is because that's an exception to the rule. You're the big strong man, but now she's controlling you. So it's that exceptionality of it that is so thrilling. And that's for a woman, that's kind of the appeal of the most enjoyable aspect of giving you a blowjob is the control she feels. And the best way to give her that experience of having control is by responding, being very responsive, talking to her, twitching, moving. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember Chris Hartwork, used to work for Vin. He and I would always joke around about, we had all kinds of different ways to get blowjobs because we both like them. And he said something funny one time. He's like, man, I am so awesome at getting blowjob. Like, I'm so awesome at getting my dick sucked. And what he actually meant was not just like the techniques to get the girl to do it, but rather while it's happening, he's really good at receiving that. And I knew what he meant. We were kind of joking about it, but what it means is you're just very responsive to her, letting her know that she's affecting you. So that's the caveat in terms of control, but typically the sexual process, initially, it feels like she's giving control to you. I mean, if a woman comes over to your place and it's just you and her, like, she's giving you control. She's offering a lot of control. Because hypothetically, I mean, you could kill her if you wanted. You could rape her. There's really nothing she could do about it. Women's biggest fear on a first date is getting raped or killed. I don't know if you guys knew that, but that's real. That comes from like some survey. Man's biggest fear is what, like not getting a goodnight kiss or. So, all right. So control. So the dimensions of embrace. Awareness of what? Of her. What is she? I mean, maybe her name is, Jennifer. She's a woman. But what does that mean? What's her nature? Her nature is embrace. She says yours is thrust, hers is embrace. Okay? So awareness of embrace. Awareness of her nature. Let's say her nature her unique flavor or expression of femininity. Femininity.
IT.
Did I do it? Wait, I always fuck this word up. It's like I turn dyslexic every time.
You spelled it right.
Femininity. Yes. Okay. Okay. Understand how flavor and expression are kind of the same thing. So, embrace has 4 dimensions. Inspire, nurture. This is in the documents I gave you.
Okay.
So 3 dimensions. The 4th dimension. What's the 4th dimension?
Time.
Time. Why is time such a big concern? A couple reasons. Number 1, there's a time window on her fertility. Women see sex more as an investment. It's a risk. So, in the same way that an investment in a stock is a risk, it's the same thing. Why is it a risk? Because there's a limit on how much money you have. And from her perspective, there's a limit on her time. A lot of this is cultural pressure. You know, women definitely start to get a little, let's say, intense after 30. I don't know how big the time window actually is. Maybe having kids after 40 could be problematic. I don't know, but there's a window. Men don't seem to really have as much of a window, and even as a man, if there were, you don't feel it. You don't feel that urgency that women do. The other thing about time is, like I said, women are living lives now. They're not sitting by the phone waiting for a man to call. They're not living at home while suitors come to the door, right? They're not passively waiting to date. Technology has changed how we operate, our lifestyles, what we do with our time. So think about texting. It's a funny way of playing with time. It's not real time anymore, right? You know, you can ask a question and then get an answer 2 hours later. So technology changes things. Technology, our social media type stuff, texting, Facebook, all that stuff, can create the illusion that you have more options than you actually do. And women are, or they can actually create more options than you normally have without that stuff. But let's say it's like there's the amount of options that a woman would have had maybe in 1950. There's the amount of options that a woman has now that she doesn't have to sit at home. She can go out and be proactive in the sense of putting herself out there. There's the options that can be built up and perpetuated over time. I mean, I'm still there's a woman in LA that I've stayed in touch with through text that I met like over a year ago. So I'm still like an option to her, right? Technology's allowed for that. In the old days, I probably wouldn't be talking anymore. So she can stay in touch with guys, kind of juggle multiple guys. She probably has several guys texting her. Those guys probably are texting multiple people as well. And then there's the amount of options that you think you have because of this technology, but you really don't. And this is where the woman is at. Women think they have more options than they do because of this. Not a lot you can do about that. But it changes how she perceives sort of the time window of finding a mate. So that's why time is really important. And this is most applicable when it comes to follow-up. And in sexual supremacy, the section that focuses on this is called 21st Century Fox. And so you can kind of understand why I called it that, right? So inspire, nurture, surrender. As a man, I want to feel like I'm impacting the world. I'm contributing. I'm using my unique gifts to make a difference. The quote that like guys love, the Gladiator movie, guys love that movie, right? And there's the quote where he says, what you do now or in this life echoes into eternity. Men really resonate with that quote, In the same way when you fuck a woman and you see her body kind of like bounce forward and you watch her little head go back and she's like, oh, it's like, yes, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm a man, right? That makes you feel like a fucking man, right? Well, you're doing that all the time, or you want to be doing that all the time, right? And you sort of are to some degree, but that's like a direct, physical, visceral way to feel that. But, starting your own business, hitting your sales quota, learning something new, cracking a joke with your buddies. I mean, these are all, as men, we want to penetrate, we want to fuck, we want to make the world feel us, we want to make the universe feel us. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about, right? Because you're men, okay? So all I have to say is thrust, and you're like, oh yeah, I get it. Well, women are different in terms of who they want to be, how they feel, what their nature is, the kind of person they want to be, right? So I can say embrace, but this can be hard for us to understand. When I say surrender, there's a negative connotation of that for a man. I mean, what's like the worst thing that could happen to me, short of getting killed, would be getting fucked, right? Getting raped, right? Getting penetrated. So, but not to a woman, obviously. You know what I mean? So it's very hard as a man to feel or understand what it's like to be a woman. The very things that women like to experience feel bad to us. So this is why I go an extra step with explaining a woman's nature. Because I give you these things, these ideas. Again, these are just different points of view of the same thing, which is embrace. So inspire. And by the way, this is in relation to a man. A woman wants to feel like she inspires you, like she turns you on. Okay? Just saying to a woman, you inspire me, is extremely powerful. There's a great quote in As Good as It Gets. You guys see that one? It was Jack Nicholson and Helen Hunt.
Yeah.
Nathan Lane, I think, was in it. And Jack Nicholson, he's a very cynical, nasty guy, but he's very good with words, and so he writes these romance novels for women. And him and Helen Hunt kind of have a thing, but he's just such a jerk, and they're kind of button heads. At some point, he says, you make me want to be a better man. And it just really hits her. Like, wow, like that's the most amazing thing anyone's ever said to me. And then he's like, Yeah, was that good? Yeah, I just made that up. It was really funny. But the point remains that that really impacted her because she's now feeling like in his eyes and in the context of him, with him, she's the woman she wants to be. She wants to inspire. Nurture. This is, I mean, I'm sure we all have experience with this. Women want to nurture you. It doesn't stop just with the motherly instinct, the maternal instinct. That's just part of an overall desire to nurture. She nurtures her friends. She wants to nurture, the man she's with. Obviously, nurture her kids. So nurturing is huge. Creating opportunities for her to nurture you and inspire you. Very, very important. So you can make a bigger impact on a woman by having her cook for you rather than you cooking for her. And there's nothing wrong with doing things for women, as long as you're not doing it to like get something in return. But the woman, again, feeling like she is who she wants to be with you. So easy way as a guy to understand this is if you guys ever played team sports. Did you ever play any team sports? You ever played like I don't know, some sort of nothing, no sports at all.
Gymnastics.
Gymnastics, okay. Nothing for you.
MMA.
Well, MMA, okay.
Yeah, wrestling. All individual.
Okay, that's okay though. So you can still draw the comparison. Like wrestling, I mean, you can get hurt, right? It can be painful. You could lose and be embarrassed. You get the cauliflower ears. You get tired, sweaty. Maybe you get injured, fuck up your shoulder or something. But you don't want to sit the bench, right? But it's safe on the bench. It's easy on the bench. But no one wants to sit the bench. You want to get out there, potentially get hurt, injured, tired, right? The same way with the woman, she doesn't want to sit the bench. The funny thing is, a lot of times guys will, when they're dating a woman, they will have her sit the bench and they think they're doing something good. I got it, I'll take care of it, paying for everything, doing everything, never asking for any sort of contribution. You're basically making her sit the bench and thinking that since it's easy, she enjoys it. She doesn't want to be babysat. She doesn't want it to be easy. Okay, that's boring. Just sitting there on the pedestal, which, by the way, she doesn't want to be on because it's all based on her being property, right? Putting her on that pedestal, no, princess, don't lift a finger. She doesn't want that. Okay? She wants to do this. She wants to do this. Creating opportunities for a woman to inspire you. I like to tell women what to wear. I'm not like domineering about it, but I'll say like if a woman wears heels and a skirt for me, I'll make sure she knows that turns me on, right? When she does little things that I think are sexy or cute, make sure she knows. Surrender. This is when RSA is triggered, respect, safety, anticipation is triggered, she's giving control. This is just giving control, giving control, giving control. Okay. All this happens through time. We have to be careful to think about how is she processing time? How's she managing her time? What's her lifestyle like? What kind of time window is she seeing? Seeing her as a human being with a life rather than just some concept of a woman and you're just hoping that you can be the most important thing in her life. That's not really realistic anymore. So she wants to surrender. She wants to. She wants to. All right? Interestingly, each one of these things, each one of these sort of dances are directly related to how she thinks about your cock. When you're hard, that's a direct indication or symbol of her inspiring you. In fact, if you're, let's say you're dancing with a woman you just met, if you're already hard, which it seems like a lot of guys are based on what women have told me, and you come up and try to grind on her, that's no fun for her. It's creepy, right? But if you're dancing with her and you start to get hard, for her, very, very exciting, right? I get tremendous responses from letting a woman feel that I'm getting hard for her. It's a means for her to nurture you. I'm always having women, just playing with it, holding it, massaging it, sucking it, obviously. It becomes her friend. It almost becomes like her, almost like a pet or something. They use words like my friend, my pal, my BFF. I'll make jokes like that. I actually had a girl over here the other day. She was grabbing it, and I was like, "Do you want to play with your friend?" She was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "What did I say?" Something like, "Okay, I'll let you guys have your time together." And she's like, "Yeah," and she got all excited, and then so she starts like jerking me off and stuff, and just playing, right? And I'm looking at her. And she's like, "Excuse me, can we have some privacy here?" And she put the pillow over my head, over my face. It was great. It's perfect because I'm creating an opportunity for her to do that. Again, it's a thing that has a lot of potential meaning. Surrender, obviously. Okay, you penetrate. When you thrust into her, she's opening, embracing, letting go. And the more you can get her to let go, the more likely she is to have orgasms, or at least enjoy the experience more. Surrender really is what it comes down to for a woman's enjoyment of sex. All these, actually. This guides what I say to women in bed, in terms of sex talk, dirty talk. It's not dirty, but this guides what I say. There's one other thing I want to say about that. Oh, let's say hypothetically, let's say she's riding you, so she's in control. Is she surrendering?
She is if you gave her permission to.
Exactly. And so the kinds of things I'll say to a woman while she's on top is I'll say, go for it. Do whatever you want. That's your dick, baby. You earned that. Get it. That's yours. Just fucking do whatever you want. Have fun. Right? And that's when they start to really get crazy and you start to hear the breathing and all that good stuff. So what's happening here is the surrender's mental. So if she's riding me and she's worried about doing it right, she's not letting go. She's trying to get it right. And that's, I think, primarily what stops women from having orgasms, is being in their head worrying. Surrender's mental. So if I can get her to let go and just trust her body to do whatever, and trust that however she moves is okay, now she's surrendering. She's surrendering to herself. You're always surrendering to yourself. That's the real surrender. It's funny when you think we're doing it. She wants to do it. And the real surrender is surrender to your own fears, your own worries, your self-consciousness, your insecurities. Okay? So, inspired, saying to a woman, "God, you turn me on. God, you're the funniest lady. I love your sense of humor. It's rare to meet a woman who can actually make me genuinely laugh. I don't have to do the polite laugh with you, you fucking crack me up. And you're a sexy little woman. Get the fuck over here. Give her a kiss on the top of her head. Okay, inspire. Sitting on the couch with her. God, a long ass day today. I was like hunched over all day. Come here, put your little hands on me. Feel that knot back there? You feel that? Yeah. You have great hands. It's nurture. Okay. You see her wearing her little mini skirt. Maybe you hung out with her all night and you're alone. And you get back in your place. You open the door, and she's sort of standing there like, "Okay, what now?" And you get that crazy look in your eyes, like. And she's like, "What? Get over here." Throw her over your shoulder. Take her to bed. Just ravish her. Pound the fuck out of her. Right? Surrender. Okay. So awareness of embrace. This is how to understand embrace. Think about how each one of these is embrace. How's surrender embrace? How's nurture embrace? How's inspire embrace? Okay? Inspire and nurture are not just about sex, but also about her as a person, her personality. So her sense of humor, her interests in life, her passions in life, what she's doing, what she's focused on. If she's creative in any way, a lot of times women are. You want, like, there's a woman I'm seeing now that sings jazz. She's like a jazz singer, and I, let her know that her singing and her being up there expressing herself excites me. Not just her ass, right? Her singing excites me, and I let it. I think guys, we don't notice this kind of stuff. Like we just look at the body, but there's a lot of things that women do that if you notice it, it's actually really exciting. So her skill at anything. Okay. Nurture. Most women are very caring, or they can be depending on the situation. And noticing how good of a friend she is, noticing how she cares about people, definitely about you, creating opportunities for her to nurture you. Also, just in the way of her personality, how supportive she is of you. So there's a woman. I told her that I felt like I could be myself with her, and I'm been kind of stressed out, and I feel really relaxed with her, and so I'm letting her know that she nurtures me. Again, she's the woman she wants to be in my eyes. So she's going to want to be in my eyes. It's like the sun. You want to go in the sun. You don't want to be where it's cold and dark. You want to be in the light. So I'm the light. In the light, she inspires, nurtures, and surrenders. Okay? Makes her want to be in the light.
Do you want to talk about surrender in terms of personality?
That's a tricky one. It's primarily physical. A good way to think about that, it's a lot more subtle, but it's kind of like if you're not taking the lead, she can't surrender. So even just let's say you meet a girl out, you guys are vibing, and it's sort of it's kind of it's that time to make a move. Do I, phone number part ways, or do I try to pull her? And what you got to do is be 100% with it. If there's any doubt or hesitation, she's going to pull away, right? So you have to be like, just look at her and say, let's go. And just take her by the hand. I'll show you guys how to take a woman's hand in a way that she just follows. But if you're not taking control and leading, she can't surrender. So to feel like the woman she wants to be, she needs you to take control, right? You can't surrender to someone who's doubting, who's hesitating. You just don't feel safe with them. It's like walking across a shaky bridge, right? So the thing with surrender is it's passive, and that's why it's more subtle. Because to say to her, I like how you give control to me. I mean, I've said that definitely, but in our patriarchal society, giving control and surrendering is seen as bad. So when you use that word, she's adopted patriarchal values too. So if I say to somebody, fuck you, to me that's an insult. Now, if I said without conditioning, she'd probably be like, okay, yes, please, right? But women say fuck you too, with a negative connotation. So they've adopted that patriarchal worldview. We're getting fucked is bad. Okay? So when you tell a woman to surrender to you, obviously that's going to give some resistance. But saying something like, I got you, you're safe with me, I like how you trust me. She's giving you a hard time, and you say, come, get over here. And she just is like, and she just goes with, and you say, there you go. Give her a little kiss on the top of her head. You're rewarding her surrender. So it's subtle because it's passive. Inspire and nurture are proactive things she does. Surrender is more about you going first, and then communicating to her that you appreciate that she's trusting you and following your lead. There's a lot of different ways you can do that. Does that make sense? Cool. Another, in sex, sex talk, basically telling her what to do. Not on the physical level, picking her up, putting her on the bed. I like to fuck women sideways, like on the edge of the bed. So I'll just grab them and pull them over. Put your legs like that, and I'll hold them like in a very. Be holding her ankles in one hand, and I'll have her arm back like that in another, right? And I might not be necessarily going hard, but I got her. That feels really good to her, right? Saying things like, get that ass up so I can get it in you deep, take that dick. Saying things like that, that's making her feel like she's surrendering. You understand? If you're getting a blowjob, or, if you're going down on her too, she's squirming and running from you, pulling her back, get back over here. I'm not done with you. If you're getting a blowjob, having her choke on it, take it deep, hold it. That's my little woman. Dick slapping you feel fucking hard and for you sexy little bitch choking my dick. That's all good. That's fucking hot to women, right? It's hot to me too. Well, just in that kind of talk, I'm triggering INS. I'm making her feel INS. You understand?